Hello and welcome. This is part 4 of the quadratic function series. Okay, in this part, I just want to give you a brief idea on the ways of solving a quadratic function. Okay, and by solving, we mean that we need to find the x-intercepts. So we always equate y equals 0. So if we have this quadratic function over here, x squared plus 4x minus 12, I will do x squared plus 4x minus 12 equals 0. This is my quadratic function that I would need to solve. We have went through factorization in the last part, and I will leave the link in the description for this part. And we went through quadratic formula as well. Completing the square is a different approach that we will not be going through how to complete the square. I will just show you after completing the square how will you solve, and we can go through completing the square in a different video. Just let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so let's start by solving factorization. So let's rewrite it. So x squared plus 4x minus 12 equals 0. So as we all know, this is a case where a is equal to 1. So it's the simple case. First step, I would look into this sign. I find it's a minus. So I will get two factors of 12 that subtract to 4. These are 2 multiply 6. The difference between them is 4. So I will open my brackets, put my x, put my two factors 2 and 6. Again, since this is a minus, the bigger factor will win the middle sign. So the middle sign is positive, the bigger factor is 6, so 6 is going to have the positive sign, and 2 is going to have the opposite sign. When we equate it to 0, we can start by doing x minus 2 equals 0. That will give me an x1 of 2. And x plus 6 equals 0 will give my second solution, or my second root, or my second x-intercept as x equals negative 6. So this is the first approach to solving. Let's do a quick line. Now let's try and solve using a quadratic formula, and we see if we will get the same answers or no. So this is our answer right here. Okay, the quadratic formula is minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 multiply my a multiply my c over 2a. So let's start by substituting. It's the same equation again. So my b here is 4, so it's going to be minus my b, which is 4, plus or minus square root of b squared, which is 4 squared, minus 4 multiply my a, which is 1 in this case, and my c, which is negative 12. All of this over 2 multiply my a, which is 1. So it's going to be minus 4 plus or minus square root of 4 squared is 16, minus 4 times 1 times minus 12 is going to give me a positive answer of 48. So it's going to be 16 and then plus 48, because negative 4 times negative 12 is 48, over 2 multiply 1 is 2. So if I try to solve, I will have a minus 4 plus or minus 16 plus 48 is 64, and if we square root 64, we will get 8 all over, let's go down, all over 2. So one time I will do 4 plus 8 over 2. This is going to give me 12 over 2, which is 6. This is my first x. Sorry, it's negative 4 plus 8 over 2. So it's a negative 4 plus 8, so that's 4. 4 over 2 will give me a 2. and then I will do a negative 4 minus 8 over 2. This minus, this minus is the minus for the 4, which I forgot in the first answer. Okay, so minus 4 minus 8 is negative 12, divide 2 is negative 6, and again, my two answers are the same. Okay, so let's get into completing the square. So let's try and do this here. Okay, so for completing the square, let's say we managed to rewrite our original quadratic function in this way. So we managed to rewrite it as x plus 2 squared minus 16 equals 0. So completing the square is similar to factorization. At the end of the day, I want to rewrite my quadratic function in a way where I can solve it. So in factorization, I rewrote it as this, and in completing the square, I rewrote it as this. For factorization, we fully know the steps to reach to this. In completing the square, I just gave you the final form, and for the steps for completing the square, that will be in another video. The reason I'm doing this is that some questions, they give you this form right away. You're not required to do completing the square or go through the steps. So let's imagine we managed to get our quadratic function into this form. How will we solve? Okay, we will move the 16 to the other side. This is going to be positive 16. Then we square root both sides. Square root is going to cancel. I will have an x plus 2 on the left. And square root of 16 is basically plus or minus 4. So one time I will do x. I will move this 2 to the other side. So it's going to be x equals. One time I will have a plus 4. And then moving the 2 to the other side is going to become minus 2. This is going to give me an answer of 2. And this is for x1. And for x2, I'm going to have the second option, which is a minus 4. After moving the 2 to the other side, it's also minus 2. So this is going to give me a minus 6. This shows that my answers are the same for both approaches. Okay. Type. One more idea I want to go through is the idea of, since we've started the lessons, we've always had two x-intercepts. So just in this case, we have an x-intercept at 2 and an x-intercept at negative 6. Probably our function is going to look like this. But is this always the case? What if my quadratic function is drawn like this? So how many roots do we have here? We have only one root because it touches the x-axis at exactly one point. Like, what about if the quadratic function is like this or like this? How many roots do we have here? In these two cases, we don't have any roots. As you can see, my graph does not touch my x-axis at all. And the same case here. So we say that this case, we have one solution. This case, we have no solutions. Right. Let's take an example. Okay. Let's try x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 0. Let's do factorization. So this is a plus. I will get two factors that add up to 4. So which is 2 times 2. I will open my brackets. X, 2, 2. Both signs are going to take the sign of the mid. So it's plus and a plus. And this equals 0. So my first x is going to be x plus 2 equals 0. I will move 2 to the other side. My first x is going to be a negative 2. And then the second thing, I have also an x plus 2 equals 0, which is this part. And my second x is also going to be negative 2. Okay, let's continue. So, as we were saying, for this particular example here, for this particular quadratic equation, when we try to solve it, try to get the x-intercepts, we found something very interesting, that both our x's are basically the same number. What does this mean? This means that our graph, our parabola, intersects the x-axis not on 2 points, just like what we've been doing so far. No, but only on one point, and this point is x of -2. So our graph will look something like this. This is case where we have a single solution. So one solution only. Thank you very much. Please feel free to leave your questions in the comments down below and I'll address them inshallah. Thank you.